Here. Okay. Okay. Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. And today we're going to do a quick, to the point explanation of African Startup League, how it works, a little bit of background as to how the money flows, why we're participating at the level we're participating at. Give a couple of examples, and then we will stop the recording and break for questions. So my name is Jamal Lewis, and I'm introducing to you our partner, Mr. Marcus Dukes. And Marcus has a history being in Silicon Valley for quite some time, building companies, some small to medium companies, helping them to go public, and also helping them along the stage of taking them from small amounts of money into multiples of millions of dollars. He's also done lots of acquisitions, mergers, friends with the guy that put together Uber. So we're using some of those models, some of those ideas in order to help us to facilitate some of the same type processes in Africa going forward. So Marcus, I'm going to turn it all over to you right now.
Hello, team. Thank you all. Get rid of my echo. Hello, team. Excited that you all are on. Again, we're excited about the app. It's actually, everything works, all the technology has been tested. Smart contracts have been launched. They've been added to GitHub, which is the repository of smart contracts, technology and software code. So it's been added to GitHub. This is an official project, and really excited about all of that. The site's just propagating across the world, so they said 24 to 48 hours, it should be up. So we were hoping it'd be up today and start coming up, but it's up. Some places are not up, to other places not a problem. By tomorrow, we know it'll be up everywhere. So we'll go ahead and do a presentation on African Startup League, why it's important, why is it quick leaders, why is it for all of you who've already participated in the Humanity NFTs, why it's important, where it is relates to the Humanity ecosystem, and then how we're going to use this to build, and also use this to build, build wealth both in Africa, but also among all the participants, no matter where in the world you're at. And so, but we're going to start with just a simple concept. Currency, right? Currency is the ability to move value. Currency creates the ability to move value from one place to the next place. If I give you $100 in currency, U.S. currency, I've moved value, stored value from me to you. Now you can keep that value stored in that $100 bill, or you can change that value to something else, food, clothes, whatever you want to. The currency creates the ability to move value from one place to the next. Economies are really the tracking of value, currency moving from one place to the next. These are kind of simplified versions, but they're honest versions, and they serve our purposes, which is that to get a simple way for you to explain as to, I understand it. I've been in the industry for a long time, but want to make sure everybody can understand it. And more so than everybody can understand it, everybody can say enough, as Mark said yesterday, to get people to the call and feel comfortable in what they're doing, what they're talking about. So currency and economies have always been in the hands of governments. Governments created currencies, governments created economies. And we, the people, have always been under, as subservient to those economies and those currencies, i.e., you're born in the US, you use the US dollar, you're in the US economy, and there was really nothing to do about that, right? And the same thing whether you was in Nigeria, or Ghana, or Portugal, or wherever you was under their regime, you use their currency and you own their economy. With that being said, today, the exciting thing about today is that because of blockchain, people can create their own currency, people can create their own economies, and people are doing it all over the world today. literally the 33 people or so on this call, 33 people on this call, we can create a coin today, call it the Jamal Call coin, or the Jordan Jamal Cool Hat coin. And we can create a coin today, and we decide that we're going to do our business or transact our business between each other in that coin. If we do that, we both created a currency and an economy. This is how the blockchain works. This is the important development, innovation that blockchain has brought us. The ability for people to decide what currency and what economy they want to operate in, what currency they want to use, what economy they want to operate in. This, while in the developed world, is a great concept. In the developing world, it's a freeing concept, because people who have been under regimes of bad government for all their lives, and their parents and their grandparents can now free themselves some kind of way economically from that regime of bad policies, bad principle, bad corruption, whatever it is, and operate an economy of their own making. This is happening all across Africa. It's happening actually all across South America as well. Latin America is happening. It's starting to happen throughout Asia. Is that the people are creating coins and economies, and those economies are now growing to be bigger and bigger. The biggest opportunity for this in the planet is Africa. It's 1.5 billion people. It's going to be 2.5 billion people in 2050. And those people are mostly going to grow up in a decentralized world. The African continent has a median age of half that of any other continent, roughly. So every continent on the planet has a median age between 33 and 35. And Africa has a median age of 18. Means the continent is younger, is more connected to each other, is more open to new concepts, is not so much locked into old principles and old paradigms, and therefore it can move and adjust faster. I read a stat the other day that 85% of Africans
Hey, Lane, hi, how are you?
Would never step inside of a bank.
Oh, Rain, where are you? Where are you?
85% of Africans would never step inside of a bank. So because of that, they will always, their whole life, they will bank via their phone. Their phone will be their bank for the rest of their lives. So because of this, this is the place that blockchain technology is taking off. I gave you guys stats. I'll give them to you real quickly before. I'll go again. Over $100 million a day in Nigeria is being converted from Naira, their local currency, to Bitcoin. Kenya, 12% of the population has crypto wallets, and the largest crypto liquidity pool in the world, said to be growing in Kenya. South Africa, 14% of the population has crypto wallets. I can give you country by country stat in Africa of how blockchain and decentralization is taking off. The only thing missing, as we saw, was the rails, the ability for somebody to standardize. Because even though it's decentralized, unless you have some standardization, the economies can't grow fast. Think about it like in terms of railroads. Railroads have what's called a standard gauge. That means that's the size of the rails that's standard. And because all the railroads are used to standard gauge, means that Jamal's trains and my trains and your trains can all run on the rails, even though we have different systems. So mine might be in the east, you might be in the west, Jamal might be in the south. But since we use a standard gauge rail, everybody's trains can run on anybody's rails. That's the kind of standardization we talked about. Even though blockchain is decentralized across Africa, which is good because it means nobody controls it and people have independence and freedom, there still need to be some standardization so that even if you're on somebody else's, if you're on one decentralized system, you can operate and do business on another decentralized system easily with lack of friction. That's the last piece that's missing before the explosion of the multi-trillion-dollar decentralized GDP of Africa. So what we're doing is providing those tools, those standardized tools, and those standardized processes to allow this economy to explode. The same way the railroads explode as soon as they got to standard gauge. what are those rails? It's basically three pieces to this puzzle. One is the currency we talked about. And for that, we bring it HNFT, our mainline currency out. All of you, since you were all participants in Humanity, HMN BEQ process we went through, all of you already have HNFT coins, which is going to be our mainline coin. 61 million max supply is meant to become a high value coin, one of the top 10 coin. And we're super excited about our coin coming out, which is going to come out literally in the next couple of weeks. So one part is the currency. The second part is the Humanity NFTs, which for get everybody who's been part of the process, we're issuing 300,000 Humanity NFTs across Africa. These are our business units. These are business units. And they serve as the rail for communication, distribution, financial transactions. And the last part of it, of our ecosystem, is African Startup League, which is what we're talking about today. African Startup League is 10,000 startups. It's a startup studio, decentralized. When I say decentralized startup studio, what I mean is that most startup studios or accelerators are centralized. You have to go to Silicon Valley to help to accelerate your company. You have to go to Miami. You have to go someplace. This is decentralized. Not controlled by one person, not controlled by one team. Each of the 300,000 NFTs are part of the decentralized startup studio. The point of the decentralized startup studio is to launch 10,000 startups. 10,000 startups that get funding over the course of several years. And those 10,000 startups are going to build the companies of the future for Africa. Obviously, if the 10,000 startups build the countries of the future for Africa, and you own part of the companies, you own part of the economy. This is your way to own a piece of the economy, which gives us to our last opportunity that nobody ever had before, which there was never an opportunity to own a piece of economy. There was never an opportunity to own a piece of China's economy or India's economy directly. This decentralized economy of Africa, we have opportunity to own. You have the opportunity to own a piece of the decentralized economy. And so with that, African Startup League, I'm gonna take you through the presentation real quickly, and it's to give you the context and then tell you what are the next steps. So African Startup League, what it's about, it's the first project, as you know, of Humanity Node Protocol and the world's first decentralized community-powered company builder for startups that want to improve humanity. It solves many problems of entrepreneurs and investors because it creates companies inside of a community. And nobody's ever done this before, create companies inside a community. So the competition is 10,000 teams will be allowed to register for each year's startup competition. Each year of those 10,000 teams, we have 100 winners. The 100 winners win cash prizes, with the minimum cash prize being $10,000. And the grand prize will be a minimum of $1 million. Each year, the minimum prize will be $10,000, and the first grand prize of a minimum of $1 million. So some starter will win $1 million. Now you can see the prize pool here. Second place is going to pay $250,000, third place $100,000, and so on and so forth. Fourth $50,000, fifth $40,000, all the way down to the 100th place would pay $10,000. Now, any of those top 100 companies that win are also going to be tokenized, meaning they're also going to have their own token created at the end of the competition. So people have an opportunity to own pieces of any of these top 100 companies. Now, if you pick one of these 100 companies, you'll get a piece automatically. So we'll talk about the picking in a second. But again, 10,000 teams, 100 winners, grand prize, over $1 million invested. The ASL token. This is the team token of the African Startup League. built on the blockchain. Binance Smart Chain uses smart contracts. Token proceeds are the funding for the prize pool and referral commissions. And it guarantees adequate compensation for all participants in the system. There are a total of 105 ASL or African Startup League tokens will be issued. 100 million are needed for the team. So to field a team or to sponsor a team, you need to have 10,000 tokens to sponsor a team. 10,000 tokens are needed to sponsor a team. Now, one person can sponsor a team. I can buy 10,000 tokens. The tokens are going to be sold in the pre-sale for 10 cents each, 10 US cent each. So to buy 10,000 is $1,000. So I can sponsor a team myself, or me and my buddies can get together and sponsor a team collectively. I can buy $500 worth, so that's about 300, that's about 200. Or many people can buy, $10 a piece and sponsor a team. So as long as it's worth, as long as you get to 10,000 coins, you can sponsor teams. Sponsor teams mean, think of F1, means you get to put a team on the field. You get to put a team into the competition. You get to pick a startup idea and a founder and put them into the competition. Hopefully they will win the competition, which will then create wealth for you and for them. So here's the ASL franchise. Again, a team is 10,000. There's 10,000 teams that will be entered into the competition, and a team needs 10,000 tokens. So 10,000 slots for teams managed by their sponsors. People who own the tokens are the sponsors. The only ways for companies to participate in the competition. So if you're not selected by a sponsor, you cannot enter the ASL competition. The 10,000 sponsor slots select the 10,000 teams. Next, the stake to earn, this team is represented by the 10,000 tokens, which are staked through the lifetime of competition. So if the competition is going to go for the next 6 months, it's going to start, let's say in November, and for the next 6 months, then you have to stake your tokens for that duration of 6 months. And when you stake your tokens, as they add up to 10,000, 10,000 stakes tokens get the ability to name one team into the competition. 10,000 staked tokens gives the right to name one team to the competition. And staking rewards, your staking rewards is when you stake your company. If your team wins, you'll get shares in the company. You'll get coins and tokens in the company if your team wins the competition. Become an owner. At the end of the competition, shares equity of the top 100 startups are being funded or tokenized, and 10% of return to the sponsors. So of those top 100 companies that won the competition, 10% of each company has been returned to the sponsors. So this is your chance to get equity at the beginning, like your angel investor, like your early investor. And this is the way to create real wealth.
That was the whole idea there. Silicon Valley. We'll cover that great in a few slides right now.
Absolutely. Okay. The future of African startups. 100 finance startups will have their equity tokenized in exchange for 20% of their shares, the 100 winning teams. The funding company's valuation, the value of the winning companies will be a minimum of $12 million at the closeout of the competition. And the value of the winning team will be over $5 million. Even though they never receive $1 million in cash, the value will be over $5 million. Now, referral. The only way to buy a team token is through referral code on the blockchain. So you can't buy a team token except for through a referral code on the blockchain. Beauty of our system is that on the blockchain, at the second that somebody buys a team token, the commissions are paid out. All six, so we pay commissions 6 levels deep, and instantaneously at the same time of the purchase, the commission is paid out to all 6 levels. To do that, you have to be referred by so this is invitation only. You have to be referred by somebody who has a whitelisted wallet or somebody who's already purchased. So That's how you can't purchase a coin without a referral wallet, and a referral wallet has to have already been whitelisted or purchased a coin. The first, go back one, the first, a direct sale is 15%. Your second tier is 5%, third tier is 4%, fourth tier is 1%, fifth tier is 3%, sixth tier is 2%. And incentivize for you to build, and the greater you build, watch your money flow in, and your money's gonna flow in instantly. Every single day you have money coming into the pot, into your wallet. Here's the exciting part, and this is gonna explain it real quickly here, but it takes a little bit more explanation. Is that the top 100 winners, so top 100 winning teams are gonna get, if you're a sponsor, big or small, you sponsor the whole team, you sponsor a piece of the team. You sponsor one of the teams that will end up in the top 100, you're gonna get tokens from every single of the top 100 winners. If your team, not if your team wins, if your team just comes in the top 100, it means you're going to get tokens from every team in the top 100. Yeah, it's going to be a huge return. If your team comes in the top 10, you'll get even more tokens. The top 3, even more tokens, a bigger, and if your team wins, you'll get 0.5% of all the tokens from all the teams. This is a massive startup equity portfolio builder. Nobody's ever had a product like this that launched them with startup equity so easily and so directly. This is how Silicon Valley makes its money. Go back, go forward.
I think it's a little bit like
forward. Yep.
This one right here.
Yep. No. Go forward one more. Okay. The important part of our system, Silicon Valley is based upon 90% losers and 10% winners. The important part of our system is that there is no losers. How? Instead of you putting dollars in a startup, and if your startup don't make it, then your dollars are lost. That's typical crowdfunding. What you do is you buy coins and you stake coins. And you stake coins for the duration of the competition. And when the competition is over, if you're in the top 100, you saw the great prizes and rewards you're going to get as far as equity. If you're not in the top 100, your coins, since they're staked, they're returned to you. So you can always sell your coins, or you can participate in next year's competition, meaning that you didn't lose any money at all. This is the only system on the planet where you get to be a startup equity investor at the very beginning, in the angel stages of investing, and you will not lose any money. Nobody else has a system like that at all whatsoever. There's no other system like that on the planet. That's African Startup League in a nutshell. In a quick nutshell, we're adding a little bit more graphics to this. We have this by tomorrow ready for consumption. But that's African Startup League in a nutshell. That's how it works. That's what the coins do. The coin, if you pick winning teams, and then as you learn over time, because there's a big education role here, you'll learn not only how to just to pick teams, but how to build teams, how to make sure your teams are one of the winners. And as you do that, you're going to build a lot of wealth for yourself. Because Silicon Valley has proven to be the biggest wealth creator in the history of man. And now this verge for Africa should be even bigger.
Yeah, that's true. We'll stop right here. We'll look at the other one with the So we just showed you how African Startup League works. See how it works in Silicon Valley right now, and understand what even a simple, like Marcus said, I mean, all the way down to $10. If you got a bunch of people you can get together and put up $10 just into one company to increase the chances that you're gonna be successful. Move that off the screen. That's it. I'm trying to
Yeah,
get real quick.
I'm trying to move. I'm trying to find the right. Let's not show that.
Pause the recording for this real quick.
So again, as I showed for those on yesterday, Silicon Valley, this is how, again, $60 trillion of wealth has been created. But I'll tell you one big advantage that we have, which I just told you. So here we go. You know, wealth is created by investing in companies at the beginning, not at the end. You know, we've been taught to invest in mutual funds, which is at the end. Mutual funds, before mutual funds, there's IPOs. For IPOs, there's investment bankers. Before investment bankers, there's venture capitalists that get to invest. Before venture capitalists, there's angel investors. For angel investors, there's founders. So we've been taught to invest at the end mutual funds, but the returns are small. But the biggest returns at the beginning as angels invest in founders. For example, Arthur Rock, $10,000 investment in Intel made $1 billion. In Apple, Mike Markopoulos had a 220,000% return on his Apple investment.
So if you had $100, yeah, this at 10. If you had $10 invested in Apple stock in the beginning at 220,000% return, how much money would you make?
You had $10, so 100% is double your money, right? 100% is double your money. So this is 2,205 times your money. So think of it like this: if you had $500, you would have $1 million. For every $500, you would get $1 million. For every $500, you would have $1 million. So if you invested $500 the same time he did in Apple, you would have $1 million. If you invest 5,000, you have 10 million. Okay. Well, Forbes says angel investors, how the rich invest. Most families are missing out on a huge opportunity of wealth creation, according to Forbes. Amazon up 14 million %.
That means if you invested $1, you would have $14 million.
That means so the easy way to do it is wipe out the last 2 zeros. So if you put your finger on the last 2 zeros, then that 14 million looks like 140,000. So it's $1 for every 140,000. $10 would have made 1.4 million. $100 would have made 14 million. $1,000 would have made 140 million. Facebook up 736%. Okay, 30,000%. Uber 1.599900%. Airbnb 2 million %, and so on and so forth. The problem is that we regular people have not been able to get in on angel investing. So since we haven't been able to get in on angel investing, and we invest at the end with mutual funds, all the wealth creation, the big wealth creation has been done at the end of the angel investor. Now, there's 2 reasons why. One reason why is because the laws have been prohibitive for people investing at the angel investment end. Secondly, that there has been, we haven't been able to understand the 90% loss rate is unacceptable for most people. Now, I told you one of the huge, and there are many, because we are a blockchain-based decentralized system. One of the hugest advantages is that in our system, you don't lose money when you invest in angel companies. Why? Because you stake your coins, and your coins are coming back to you at the end of the competition. Because we knew that poor people need a way to participate, but not lose money. So we created a value creation system that doesn't allow them to lose money while they participate. This is the first time in history that this has happened. And it's going to open up startup investing to the whole world, literally.
In short, that's what African Startup League.
In short, that's what African Startup League is all about.
Awesome. So we can cut right here.